The sky above was dark, painted with strange colors she had never seen before. The wind carried a sharp, cold scent that made her skin tingle. She stood at the edge of a rocky cliff, her eyes scanning the alien landscape, every shadow moving like it had a life of its own. She had come here to study the planet, to see the so-called prototype of Earth. But nothing had prepared her for the silence, the feeling that she was being watched. Every step she took on the cracked, dusty ground made a sound that echoed too loudly in the emptiness. Her heart beat faster as a faint rustling came from the valley below. The trees or what looked like trees twisted in impossible shapes, their limbs reaching toward the sky like claws. Something moved among them, something huge, but she could not see it clearly. A shadow passed across the rocks, and she froze, her breath caught in her throat. She had been warned that this world was dangerous, that humans were small, weak creatures in the universe, easy to crush or destroy, but she could feel a strange energy in the air, like the planet itself was holding its breath. A shiver ran down her spine as the rustling grew louder, closer. Then she saw it just for a moment, a massive shape, dark and powerful, slipping between the rocks, muscles moving like liquid, eyes glowing faintly in the alien twilight. Her mind screamed at her to run, but her feet did not move. She was rooted to the spot, watching, unable to look away. Suddenly, a small figure appeared behind the rocks, calm, almost too calm. It was a human, standing straight, hands empty, eyes fixed on the approaching shadow. She felt disbelief and fear at the same time. How could such a small creature face that massive predator without fear? The wind shifted, carrying the smell of something wild and sharp. The predator let out a low growl, a sound that shook the ground. The human did not flinch, did not move an inch. She could not understand it, but something deep inside her whispered this was no ordinary human. The predator stepped closer, its claws scraping the stone, each sound louder than thunder. She held her breath as the human raised a hand, almost lazily, like it was nothing. Her eyes widened in shock when the shadow stopped, as if frozen by an invisible force. Her heart pounded in her chest, but she could not turn away. Time seemed to slow, every detail sharp and vivid. The predator's muscles tensed, the human's stance calm, controlled. She wondered if she had imagined it, if her mind was playing tricks in the alien light, but the energy in the air was real, powerful, almost alive. Then, a sudden movement too fast to follow made her gasp. Something happened between the human and the predator, a flash of speed and strength she could not comprehend. Her eyes were wide with fear and awe, and for the first time, she felt the truth of what she had heard about humans. They were not weak, they were not fragile, they were something else entirely. She took a step back, heart racing, knowing that what she was about to witness would change everything she thought she knew. The predator's growl turned into a cry, echoing across the valley, and she realized, with a mixture of terror and fascination, that the human was about to do the impossible. She swallowed hard, her mind screaming to run, but her body stayed. She had come to observe, to study, but now she was about to witness a force of nature unlike anything she had ever imagined. The air grew still, heavy, and charged with anticipation. She held her breath, waiting, watching, knowing that the arrival of the unknown had begun. The predator's eyes glowed brighter now, a pale green light cutting through the twilight. It moved with silent power, muscles rippling under dark, scaly skin. Every step precise and deadly. She could see its teeth glint in the dim light, long, sharp, made for tearing. The air smelled of danger, thick and metallic, and her stomach twisted with fear. The human did not move, did not flinch, standing perfectly still as if the predator was just a shadow on the ground. She could not understand it, her mind racing with doubt. How could anyone be so calm in the face of such a monster? The predator crouched low, its claws digging into the rocks, ready to spring. The ground trembled slightly beneath its weight, sending loose stones sliding down the cliff. She felt the tension in the air like a storm about to break. The wind howled through the twisted alien trees, carrying the scent of danger. A branch snapped behind her, and she spun around, heart pounding. Another predator, or just a rock falling. Her eyes searched the darkness, but all she could see was the massive creature ahead. It let out a low growl, deep and resonant, shaking the very air. The sound made her skin crawl and her knees weaken. The human did not move, still watching, still calm. She felt a chill as she realized something terrifying. This human was not afraid of the predator, not even a little, and that thought both scared and fascinated her. The predator lowered its head, nostrils flaring. Sniffing the air, its gaze locked on the human, studying, calculating. She could feel the tension rising, thick and suffocating, every second stretched, slow and heavy, as if time itself had paused. Then the predator made a sudden move, faster than she could follow. It lunged forward, claws extended, teeth bared. She gasped, ready to scream, ready to run. But the human did not move, did not flinch, just stood there, calm and unshaken. The predator struck the air where the human had been. A blur of claws and teeth met only empty space. She stumbled back, eyes wide with shock. The human had moved, but barely, almost like a ghost. The predator growled again, louder this time, a sound that shook the ground. It circled, hunting, testing, like it had never faced anyone like this before. The human's eyes were focused, calculating every move of the massive predator. She could feel her heart racing faster with every moment. The predator lunged again, faster and harder. The human dodged with inhuman speed, a blur of motion. Her jaw dropped, disbelief mixing with fear. She had never imagined a human could move like this, fight like this, and then she realized it, a terrifying truth. This was not just a human. This was a force, a predator of another kind, one that did not need claws, teeth, or size to dominate. She took a step back, her mind struggling to process what she had seen. The predator growled, circling again, eyes glowing with fury. The human remained calm, focused, ready for whatever came next, and she knew, deep down, that what she was witnessing was only the beginning. The wind carried a new sound, low and threatening. From the forest beyond, other predators, or something worse? She did not know. All she knew was that the human had faced the first threat, had survived, and the story she was witnessing was about to become even more unbelievable. The predator lunged again, faster, stronger, teeth glinting in the dim alien light. She held her breath, heart pounding, unable to look away. The air was thick with tension, every sound amplified, every shadow a threat. Then it happened, something she could not have imagined. The human moved, faster than her eyes could follow, in one smooth motion. He grabbed the predator's claw, twisting it with incredible strength. The beast roared, a sound that shook the rocks and rattled the alien trees. She stumbled back, eyes wide with disbelief. The human did not struggle, did not panic. His grip steady, controlled. He pulled with ease, and the predator let out a cry of pain. She could not believe what she was seeing. The predator struck again, claws slashing through the air. The human dodged, stepped inside the predator's reach, and with his bare hands, struck its chest. A heavy sound echoed as if a rock had fallen, and the predator staggered. Her mind raced, trying to understand, but nothing made sense. The human's movements were precise, powerful, almost impossible. Each strike, each grab, controlled and deliberate. The predator roared again, thrashing wildly, but it could not break free. She felt fear and awe mixed together in her chest. The human lifted the predator's claw and twisted it backward. A sharp crack echoed through the valley. The predator screamed, thrashing, but the human's grip never faltered. She had never seen strength like this, never imagined it possible. The predator lunged one last time, faster, more furious than before. The human caught its jaw with both hands and forced it open. She gasped, unable to turn away. The predator struggled, massive muscles straining, teeth snapping. But the human did not let go, did not hesitate. Finally, with a single powerful movement, the predator was thrown backward, crashing into the rocks. Dust and stones flew into the air, and the sound echoed for miles. She blinked, trying to comprehend what she had just witnessed. A human, small and seemingly fragile, had overpowered a creature meant to kill. The predator lay still for a moment, stunned, then slowly tried to rise. The human did not wait, stepping forward with calm determination, each movement precise, almost elegant, as if he had trained for this all his life. Her heart pounded in her chest, fear and amazement mixing into a strange thrill. She realized then that humans were not like any other species she had studied. They were clever, fast, and strong, far beyond appearances. This human was not just surviving, he was dominating, and she felt a strange mix of fear, respect, and curiosity. The predator finally turned and ran, but she knew it would return. The human stood tall, unshaken, watching it go. She swallowed hard, realizing that this moment had changed everything she thought she knew about humans. They were not weak, they were not helpless, they were unstoppable when pushed. The wind carried the sound of the predator's cries fading into the distance. The human's chest rose and fell slowly, his eyes scanning the horizon. She felt a chill run down her spine, knowing that she had just witnessed the impossible, and she understood that this story, his human, was only beginning to show its true power. The predator had fled, leaving the rocky valley in an uneasy silence. She stood still, her eyes fixed on the human, her mind racing. She could feel the raw power he had shown, and it terrified her, yet at the same time, she felt something else: curiosity, or strange respect. The human wiped his hands clean, calm and collected. As if nothing had happened, she took a cautious step closer, still hidden behind the rocks. Every nerve in her body screamed at her to run, but she could not move, could not tear her eyes away from him. He turned slightly, sensing something, and his gaze met hers for a brief moment. She froze, feeling exposed, yet also strangely drawn to his presence. He did not speak, did not move toward her. It was as if he knew she was watching, but he did not fear her, nor did he care. The valley was quiet now, but she knew the calm would not last. Other predators could be lurking, waiting for an opportunity. She could see their footprints in the dust, large, deep, signs of creatures bigger than the last. Her heart thumped loudly in her chest, fear creeping back, but the human did not move. To hide, did not look afraid. He scanned the horizon, his eyes sharp and alert. Every muscle in his body was ready, prepared. It was not just strength he had shown, it was control, intelligence, survival instinct, beyond anything she had ever seen. She realized then why Earth's prototype had been underestimated. Humans were small, fragile, easy to dismiss, yet in moments of danger, they became something else entirely, something no predator could predict, something unstoppable. Her thoughts were interrupted by a sound from the forest beyond, a low growl, followed by heavy steps, closer and faster. The human turned toward it instantly, alert and ready. She felt a chill run down her spine. Knowing that another challenge was coming, the predator had been strong, terrifying, yet it had been no match. But what was approaching now might be worse. She held her breath, hiding behind the rocks, watching. The human's calm did not falter. Even as the new threat drew nearer, she realized the truth, and it hit her like lightning. Humans were not just survivors, they were predators themselves. They could fight, they could adapt, and they could dominate. She had witnessed power beyond imagination, and she knew there was more to come. The wind carried the sounds of movement, and she could see shadows slipping through the alien trees. Her heart pounded with fear and anticipation. The human's stance was firm, eyes sharp, muscles ready. He did not speak, but the energy around him said everything she needed to know. This was not just a fight for survival. This was a display of a force of nature, one she had never seen before, one that challenged everything she knew. She felt a strange mixture of dread and fascination, knowing that she was witnessing the rise of something extraordinary. The shadows drew closer, the tension thickening with every step. She felt the chill of anticipation, the thrill of the unknown, and she understood that this human, this small creature, had changed her view of life, power, and the universe forever. The shadows in the forest grew closer, heavier, filled with movement and threat. She could hear the crack of branches, the snap of stones under massive feet. Her heart raced faster than ever, her breath shallow. Every instinct screamed at her to run, yet she stayed, hidden behind the rocks. The human stepped forward, eyes scanning the approaching threat. He did not flinch, did not hesitate, every movement calm, deliberate, controlled. She felt her chest tighten, a mixture of fear and awe gripping her. No predator she had ever seen could have faced this kind of power and survive. The first shadow emerged, a massive beast, claws digging into the alien soil, teeth glinting under the strange sky. The human did not move backward, did not dodge. He raised his hands slightly, almost lazily, and the predator paused mid-step. She could not believe it, her mind struggling to comprehend what she was seeing. Then another shadow appeared, and another, faster, stronger, larger than the last. The forest seemed to come alive with danger, yet the human stood his ground, like he had done countless times before. Every predator hesitated, unsure, sensing something in him they could not understand. Her heart pounded as she realized the truth. This human was more than strength, more than speed. He carried a presence, a force that commanded the wild. She had come to study, to observe, but now she understood she was witnessing the rise of something extraordinary. The predators lunged together, a wave of fury and power. The human moved, a blur of motion, dodging, striking, dominating. She gasped, clutching the edge of the rock, eyes wide with disbelief. Every movement, every action was perfect, unstoppable, breathtaking. She could see the fear in the predator's eyes, something primal, something they had never felt. They tried to attack, tried to overwhelm, but the human was always one step ahead. She felt her chest tighten, knowing she was witnessing not just survival, but mastery. The predators were not merely beaten, they were made to understand their place. A low growl rumbled from the forest, deeper than before. Something larger, more dangerous, was coming. She was sure of it. The human turned his gaze toward the dark trees, calm and ready, and she realized, with a chill running down her spine, that this was far from over. The wind shifted, carrying the scent of something ancient, powerful. She could feel it in her bones. In the air, a warning, a promise of challenges to come. The human's eyes narrowed, scanning, calculating, prepared for anything. She swallowed hard, knowing that this was only the beginning. The predators hesitated. Sensing the human's unstoppable force, they backed away slowly, but she could feel the tension, the anticipation. Something else was waiting, hidden in the shadows, watching, planning. She knew it would test him like nothing before, and she wanted to see it. Her heart pounded as she stepped closer. Unseen, she had traveled far, witnessed danger, and now she understood. Humans were not weak, not fragile, not ordinary. They were unstoppable, clever, and something the universe had underestimated. The forest grew darker, alive with movement. The human took a deep breath, ready for the next challenge. She held her breath, watching, waiting, knowing that the story was far from over. And she smiled slightly, a mix of fear and excitement, knowing she would follow, because she had just witnessed the rise of something extraordinary, and the unknown had only just begun.